Onision is more than just a bad YouTuber. He's a bad husband, a borderline sociopath, and to top it all off, alleged predator. And I say alleged only to make this video non-slanderous, but I could probably drop the whole alleged altogether and just call it how it is. We've seen in the past that Greg isn't the most secretive with his life, and in cases like this, it really works against him. He's recorded his spouse having a mental breakdown for views and revenue, of all things. He's used predatory living arrangement tactics to force his spouse into a corner. But we're not going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at a more recent development into the Onision saga. Just recently, the NBC journalist Chris Hansen, of all people, stepped into this whole mess. The host of To Catch a Predator actually got involved with this. He and two very knowledgeable internet personalities discussed Greg and his allegations and the evidence that backs him up.
And I get a lot of people saying, you ought to look into him, you ought to look into him. And somebody you have looked into is this Onision.
And Greg was invited to appear on this show to clear up his name, but he didn't. While most people would hop to the opportunity to set the record straight, Greg approached this with more of a shrewd caution. He said that he would speak to Chris only if he received $350,000 in return, and then he would clear up his name.
We invited him to be on the show last week. He said he would only appear if we paid him $350,000. And then said if we talk about him or if Blair White, last week's guest, references him in any way, he would sue our shoe. Well, I presume that was a misspelling of show, but he said shoe. So while I have some expensive shoes, none of them are worth it. Danny, what is the deal with Onision? How did he get on your radar, and why have you been dogging him so hard?
But I almost feel like he doesn't really have necessarily a way to clear up his name. Otherwise, he would have called out his accusers on their lies with his evidence, but it doesn't appear that he has any. Such an arbitrary amount of money, too. Why $350,000? It's almost like his channels haven't been generating any revenue. It's almost like he hasn't tried to pursue any other means of employment because of his public actions. He's making himself look bad and destroying his own reputation. This cash would probably just go towards bailing Onion Boy out of some financial hot water. But money aside, why would he choose to stay viewed as guilty? This whole mess has even cost Greg some sponsorships, actually. Like this one, for example, where he stated that the only way that he would sponsor this company is if he received half of the payout before and half after. The company decided to do a little bit of research on Onion Boy and found out that he was attached to a pretty bad story. Surprise. This caused them to retract their offer, leaving Onion with no cash and no sponsor. How does he respond? Like a child having a temper tantrum using name-calling to vent his anger. Onion's career as a YouTuber is over. That much is obvious. But with this widespread attention that the story is finally getting, and rightfully so, financial problems will be the least of his concerns. Onion is not a good individual, based on everything that he and others have made public. What we see of him is pretty bad, but just imagine what we don't see. Stay with me on this. The Onion Boy saga thickens with every passing day, and I expect this story to remain very interesting.